to the K-Files. This morning we have with us Captain Jeff Sherrod. Good morning.
Good morning.
And we have J.P. Barnes. Good morning,
everybody.
Good morning, sir.
So glad to have y'all on this morning. We've got a good show today. We're going to talk, of course, to Captain Sherrod about his Nash County cases. And we're also, you're on the board of the Team Cold case. So we're going to talk about our exciting fundraiser. We have so much fun, and you know what? We have the best prizes to give away you've ever seen, don't we?
We do. We usually have some good ones.
And you got to get on it because
Yeah.
you are the best one. You bring in the best prizes.
Flattery gets you
So
everywhere.
get busy.
Whatever
That's
works.
right. I know how to butter the toast. But anyway, so we'll talk a little bit about that. But first, let's talk about some of your cases, your Nash County cases, and see what's going on with those.
Well, you know, we had 2 homicides within about 25 minutes in the 1st of February.
Right.
Luckily, we were able to make arrests in both those cases. One of them is the highly talked about grandmother with the 8-year-old. We were able to arrest the grandmother in that and charge her with first-degree murder. And then the second incident that happened up in Whitaker's in front of CDC, the guy was released from the hospital a couple weeks ago, and once he was released from the hospital, we arrested him for first-degree murder, and now he's in the jail as well.
Okay. So, both of those. Now, he was not on the premises of CDC.
No, they were
The guy had gotten off of work, and I think this guy was kind of waiting for him.
Well, it's hard to determine if he was waiting or if they just knew each other were going to be at a certain time. But yes, they were definitely not on CDC's property. They were right there at the stoplight at the intersection
Okay.
of Johnson Road and 301 and CDC.
Okay.
And that's where the shooting took place. And then the suspect was also shot, and then he drove away and made it almost to Brattleboro, to where I guess the pain was feeling so bad he had to stop and pull over himself and call 911.
Goodness gracious. Well, so an arrest has been made.
Yes, in both
in
of those
that
cases.
case. And in the other case, an arrest has been made, and we'll know more as the investigation goes on, but that one is, with the 8-year-old, is still under investigation. So we'll have to wait and see see what the progress will be in that particular case as well.
Correct. So you know we are still in meetings with Jeff Marsiglia, who's the DA, and then Claire Marie Weddle, who is the the office in charge DA at the Nashville office.
Okay.
And her and I and Marsiglia and Sheriff Stone have all been in meetings, talked about what we need to do as far as court orders and things of that nature, and what we're going to ask for from different agencies and things of that nature. So I mean, it's still an ongoing investigation. Still hadn't got the medical examiner's final report back yet. So I mean, it's still a work in progress.
Well, you know, just an observation by me, nothing for the sheriff's department or anything. It's my observation. I said, she is sitting in the jail or wherever she was at in the picture that was sent out in a wheelchair. I'm thinking, lady, come on. I mean, you beat the death out of this little girl and you're in a wheelchair. Come on. But anyway, that's just my comment. Okay, we'll move on. Randy Colgrove is still
Yeah,
out there.
still investigating that. I mean, whenever we get some tips, nothing has came in lately on Randy Colgrove, but you know, I still periodically try to look back at it and make sure there's nothing I missed or anything like that from back when we did interviews back then, and just hoping that, you know, somebody can give us a call one day and break this case wide open for us. But so far, nothing has panned out. Man, I don't know how you actually say this. So some actually bad news, but I guess good news is coming out of it. So the gentleman that was killed up in Whitaker's, his name was Quentin McNair, and since his death, I've actually got some phone calls, and Kat with Fighting Crime called me last night but we've actually got some tips on Letitia McNair's case.
Wow.
So,
that's one I want them to solve so badly.
Yep, and that's, man, that case is 23 years old now.
Yes.
And I've been working on it on and off for the last year and a half, and don't know the connection. I hope there's no connection to it, to be honest, but I don't know if it's because he's a victim in a crime that people are now talking about her case, but I received a call last week and Kat received one yesterday about Letitia's case. So we gotta.
Do you feel like they're meaty tips?
They are. The one I got, she had to have heard something because there's no way that she would have known that from law enforcement. It was something,
Wow.
it was something that we hadn't put out as law enforcement. So
She knew some details.
she's talked to somebody. I don't know if she's overheard it in a conversation or if it's passed down so many times that the stories got added to, but it was worth it piqued my interest, let's put it that way. So but that's, I mean, I've said the whole time that is definitely one case that I hope we can solve, because as we said many times before, Letitia was mentally challenged, and those people usually just tend to themselves and don't bother anybody.
That's right.
And innocent, and if anybody needs justice, she does. So hopefully with these tips that Kat got and the ones I got the other day, we can put something together and hopefully we can try to solve this one.
Well, now, refresh my memory in that case, if you can. If you can't, I understand. There were some relatives that I believe she would go home from school and stay with a relative.
She was in the custody of her aunt.
Her aunt.
That's what I was thinking.
Is her aunt deceased, is what I'm
Yes,
trying to...
her aunt is
Okay,
deceased.
that's what I thought. So the aunt is now deceased.
The
Okay.
aunt's deceased, and she was in the custody of her aunt, and then, and we've mentioned it before, her other aunt passed away during the time she was missing, and her tombstone was coming in to the graveyard, and the whole family was supposed to go to the graveyard that night and see the tombstone that had just come in, and that's when the skull was found on the grave that was where somebody had just died like a week later or a week earlier.
Wow.
And so the skull was found, and then we were able to identify it to be Letitia through dental records, and then 7 years later, some guys riding four-wheelers found the rest of her remains.
Wow. Okay, this aunt that she was in the custody of, how long has she been deceased? About, I mean, just
Ooh.
rough. Was it recent?
No, it's been within
been
the
a long
last.
time.
It's been within the last five or so years.
Okay.
I want to say.
Okay, just curious. Okay. All right, and you have a missing person.
We always have Travis Lynch. He's been missing from the Bailey Middlesex area since Christmas Eve. Hadn't seen him or the car since then. We try to work this case whenever tips come in or whenever something major pops off down around Bailey Middlesex. We always try to bring it up to see if anybody will talk about that case, and still no leads in that case. And we said this before, and JP, he and I both said it. Usually when you have a missing persons case, you either find the person or you find the car. And we hadn't found either, and it's very, very unusual not to find the car. So that case has stumped us for many years on why we can't find the car, and just hoping one day that something breaks down around the Middlesex Bailey area and somebody's willing to talk to us about it.
Wow. Why can't they find the car, JP?
You don't want to know my theory on this.
Well,
I
there's a
don't-
lot
I
of
don't-
theories out there.
I don't think you'll ever find either one.
I don't
But
either.
that's just my personal opinion.
And I completely agree. But I have my theories, but
Yeah.
I mean, they're just theories. So
Yeah,
nothing that we
absolutely.
can prove of anything.
Right, right. And, everything has to be proven. And we say this all the time. People say, why? They know. They know. And, when Tender came, Lieutenant Tender came one time, he said, we feel like we know but it's got to be proven
Oh, yeah.
beyond a shadow of doubt.
Well, and I mean, and that's, not just with Tinder, but that's the case I feel with
All
Randy
the time.
Colgrove. No, with
Yeah.
Randy Colgrove. I truly believe I know who did it, but
Yeah.
I can't get enough to prove it in a court of law to win it in court. And, and we've talked to the family, there's no need to charge somebody and you not be able to win it in court, and then the DAs have to dismiss it later
Yeah,
on.
you
I
don't
mean,
want
that's-
to do that.
Because then you're going to upset the DA's office, you're going to upset a judge. I mean, it's,
You're going to upset the family.
yeah, that's right.
So, I
Just
mean,
like it with Lynch. I mean,
right.
I'm 99.9% sure, based on just feelings, what happened. But that's not gonna.
Yep.
It's just an opinion. It's just a feeling.
Can't go to court
and
and testify
no,
against
you
that.
can't. No.
I mean, and that's the bad part. And like I said, I mean, I think I know who is responsible for Randy Colgrove's, but I mean, I can't win it in a court of law. So
Yeah.
you just sit back and hope that one little piece breaks that you need to say, man, I finally got it.
Yeah.
Right. So that, because the one, you did solve the one at Castalia, so you don't, that's about all you have, isn't it?
Well, the only other one we have is the one on Lonesome Pine Road where there was like 200 people at the
the
party.
Melito,
Yeah.
Armstrong.
And that still just amazes me how 200 people can be at a party and nobody said they've seen anything. And unfortunately, it's not just us. I mean, Edgecombe's got a case like that. Rocky Mount PD's got a case like that. And it's just mind-boggling to me how people can be there, see somebody they know get shot and killed, and not come forward. I mean, I understand not talking to the law enforcement, but we have fighting crime where you stay anonymous. We
Anonymous
have
tip, anonymous text.
team cold case.
Yeah.
It's
Stay
all
anonymous.
anonymous. We don't know who, JP and I don't know who you are. We
Yeah.
don't care just so you give the tips.
Rocky Mount's got takes a tip, don't even know who they are.
Yeah.
Crime Stoppers don't know who you are. So you have all these different avenues to where you can call and give a tip and
Yeah.
stay anonymous, and people still not taking advantage of it.
Well, I don't understand it, folks, because you can get up to $15,000, and guess what? It's cash.
Cash.
In hand within like 48 hours. So please call. I know, we all know that somebody knows about Melito Armstrong. With that party, with all of those people, somebody knows.
Yeah.
That's just like the case in Pine Tops, like you said, with Edgecombe County. Golly, all those people standing in the yard. There's no way.
And the
So-
one in Halifax, I mean, there was 300 people at that party, and that they still hadn't solved that one. And it's sad when you got a group of people like that at a party and somebody gets shot and killed, nobody wants to tell you.
I know.
It makes you feel like to me, it makes me wonder why you hang out with those kind of people, because if you get shot and killed, those people are not going to tell the police who shot and
right.
killed you.
Exactly. And it could be you next time. If you know who it is, tell, because we need to get, we have, one of our main priorities is to get people off the street.
True.
Get these people off the street. And to give closure to these poor families is just, it's just so important, because they go to sleep night after night. They go through holidays. So many of these cases happened around Thanksgiving and Christmas
A lot
that
of
we
them do.
talk about in that book.
Oh, yeah, a lot of them do.
And they have to go through these holidays every year, year end. And, Travis Lynch is a prime example.
Yep.
So,
There's no telling what she goes through. Miss Jackie goes through every year at Christmas time.
yeah. So, anyway, cash money, folks, is cash, and nobody will know who you are. You're not going to be ratted out. Please let us know. And there's the number right there. There's a Crime Stoppers number. And as you said, there's text to tip with Rocky Mount. That's out of Canada.
Yeah.
So-
Can he get that?
They don't even know who it is. So, anyway, let's talk a little bit about the fundraiser real quick.
Okay.
Our fundraiser is the last Saturday in April,
April 29th.
April 29th. It is coming up, and it's going to start around 11 o'clock, I believe, 10 or 11 o'clock in the
About
morning.
10, yeah.
Going to have a couple of food trucks that you have managed to secure for us.
Well,
Permission.
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 Cat with Fighting Crime is the one that was able to secure the food truck.
Yeah, we'll get the food trucks again, which makes it festive. I believe the general is getting us the bouncy house again. So bring the kids. The more kids, the merrier. We want it to be a family event. Come out. We're going to have some goodies to raffle off. I mean,
will.
drawings where you get wonderful prizes. I think we're going to have a grill again. Nice grill. 4 tickets to the Carolina Panthers are going to be given away. I don't know if we're going to give them away in 2 pairs or 4. We haven't decided that yet. But there will be Carolina Panther tickets. And all the things that Captain Sherrod is going to secure for us by then. Boy, you had some really good items last year.
Well, I
So-
thought I already did my part. I got Rocky Mountain Meals to agree to let us have it up there again. So
Yeah, you
I thought
did.
that was my biggest part right there. But
Yeah,
no,
you
Rocky.
did.
But I give a shout out to Scott over there and Julie at Rocky Mountain Meals.
Mm-hmm.
The last 2 years they have been extremely gracious
Mm-hmm.
to allow us to come there and use the facilities, no charge,
Right.
set up. Have all the police cars we want, block traffic out there, so you can't drive all the way through, and just have a display of police cars and command centers, and hopefully we can get the Batmobile to come again this year, and just have a good time for a couple hours, and hopefully raise money again to be able to put toward the pot to where we continue to pay out up to $15,000 for anybody that's got any information for us.
That's exactly right. Yeah, we have to replenish the pot. We want to replenish the pot. We want to. We want to write a check and go to the bank and get the cash. We want to get this money out of the account and pay you. We want to. So, anyway, this fundraiser is to replenish our funds in the account. So that we can continue to get people off the street and bring closure to families. So, anyway, we'll be talking more about the fundraiser every week.
Yes,
Be here
ma'am.
before you know
Giving you
it.
all
It
the
will.
details. We'll tell you all the things as the weeks go by. Each week we'll tell you, we'll let you know what new raffle prizes we have to interest you, so you will come. And we'll have a book to pass out, our book with the cases. People tell me that they read this, they say, I can't stop reading it once I start. It's so interesting. These cases are interesting.
Well, not only that, just a lot of people don't even know about those cases. I mean, when
Exactly.
you pick it up and you start reading, you're like, man, I ain't never heard of this before.
Yeah, and this happened right down the road. Why did I not know about it?
And,
You know?
and it's funny, we just said that, but I got a call, man, first of last week. Somebody wanted us to check into a 1986 case that was
Wow.
unsolved.
Wow.
I looked, and we don't even have the paperwork for it at the sheriff's office from the flood or whatever. So I had to get the report from the SBI, and I had graduated high school 1 year when it happened. So I mean,
Wow.
that's it was, from what I've read so far, it was an unidentified lady found it up in a field in 1986 that's never been identified. So now I got to sit down and read it and see if there's a good enough DNA to maybe do ancestry DNA on it or anything like that, but I didn't even know about it. So,
Wow.
And I thought I knew about most of the unsolved homicides in Nash County.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's a good thing she brought it up because
Somebody did.
DNA is more advanced now.
it is, and like I said, but I never knew about it. I mean,
Wow.
I know of most of the homicides that have occurred in Nash County, even way prior to me coming, ones that date back to the 80s. I'm pretty familiar with them. I've heard about them before, from the old guys that talked about them, or somebody's called and asked about them since I've been there. And I had never heard of this one until I got the report back from the SBI, and I just got that the other day. So now I got to sit down and read it and see what I can make heads or tails of.
Wow. So we may add that to the list.
Maybe. I
Huh.
mean, it's a 1986, so we'll see.
Was it around Strickland's Crossroad? I'm just being
No,
nosy.
it was not. And I mean, you know this because we're old, but the report says State Road 1710. So I had to call
Okay.
communications and get them to translate what 1710 is, and come to find out it's over there off Autry Road outside of Nashville.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
So we'll see.
All right. Well, thank you for coming, Captain Sherrod.
Not a problem.
Always a pleasure.
Good to see you,
Good
Skip.
to see you, sir.
And we will have you back the 1st of next month, and we'll be right back with more of the K-Files.
Make any day special by coming into Ribeye Steakhouse in Nashville. Come on in and enjoy our legendary tender and juicy Omaha Angus ribeyes. And try and share our seafood entrees, your choice of shrimp, flounder, or oysters. And especially don't forget our famous salad bar with all your favorite fixins. If you want to give that someone special something to revel in, Ribeye's gift certificates can be made to order. And as you're looking for somewhere to host a business meeting or special event, you can reserve the Angus Room. Ribeye Steakhouse of Nashville, over 10 years of great food.
I'm Daniel Moss, owner of Cornerstone Funeral Home, and I'd like to invite you and your family to give our family an opportunity to serve you in your time of need. And we offer a full line of funeral services, everything from visitations to graveside services to cremations on site with a live crematory, as well as a banquet hall to meet the catering needs of our families that we serve. We offer catering service. We offer refreshments prior to visitations and services of our family. And we want to invite you to come and experience the difference here at Cornerstone Funeral Home.
What is the Davis Furniture difference? The difference is we buy with you in mind. For generations, we have listened to our customers. We can help you find the look you want for every room in your house. Quality, style, color, and of course service. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Davis Furniture, the family business where we treat you like family. Let us help you make your house a home. Davis Furniture, historical downtown Rocky Mount, on the corner of Hill and Main.
Get ready, the Rat Pack One More Time is coming to the Caheen Auditorium at Edgecombe Community College Friday, March 10th. Featuring a live orchestra and the fabulous swinging showgirls, the Rat Pack One More Time will take you back to the days of Vegas swing with the music of the original Rat Pack, who formed their own on-stage party. Tickets are $30 for adults, $20 for students. Friday, March 10th at 7 p.m. at Edgecombe Community College's Caheen Auditorium. Get your tickets online or at the box office. You don't want to miss this show.
No one ever wants to go into a life emergency. In fact, many of us wouldn't even know what to do if we were faced with an emergency, but they will come. Thankfully, there's men and women that train every single day for moments like this. They work on our behalf to serve and protect our local communities. Hi, I'm Kevin Zander from Don's Body Shop and Auto Body Wilson. With everything that's going on in life right now, we just want to take a moment to thank our first responders, for those that pledged their lives to serve and protect in our communities. You know, we all expect people to do their jobs, but some people's occupations may even require them to give of their life as a sacrifice. For this reason, we also want to honor those families that lost a loved one in the line of duty. Our thoughts and our prayers are with you. Let us not take these services for granted. To our first responders, again, we say thank you. From our nurses to our military, we appreciate your service. And as a local business owner, I pray that we continue to work together and strive for an emergency-free community. Thank you, and God bless.
Sal's Pizza, an Italian night out. Taste pizza fresh from the oven. Delicious Italian dishes made from fresh ingredients with savory sauces and textures that envelop the taste buds, satisfying with every bite. You won't leave Sal's Pizza hungry.
Best pizza in town, bar none. Love it. It's authentic. It's good stuff.
This is over the top. Sal's probably has the best pizza I've ever tasted.
If you want a dine-in authentic place to eat gourmet Italian cuisine, come to Sal's Pizza, home of a local secret, the Grandma Pizza, famous for its authentic taste. For the finest, most delicious dishes, this is the place. 2820 Sunset Avenue, Rocky Mount. Ask about Sal's Pizza catering your special events.
Promise you, the freshest ingredient in the market.
Have you recently gotten engaged? Congratulations! The next big step is choosing your venue. Smith's Pavilion of Dorchester is a premium wedding venue that includes a ceremony site, bandstand, indoor and outdoor reception area. Their newest addition is a bridal suite and groom's room. They also have an in-house chef to meet your culinary needs. Smith's Pavilion of Dorchester, where we celebrate life's greatest events.
And welcome back to the K-Files. Well, we'll just get right to it because we are here to bring out cases and names and make you familiar so that something will ring a bell and you will contact law enforcement. So, okay, James Whelan, JP.
James Whelan, this case is from 2000. Looks like it's a February 20th, 2000 case. Unknown suspects broke into a home on 405 Fairfield Drive in Rocky Mount. James O. Cotton Whelan, who was 86 at the time, was found bound with duct tape. His wife, Margie Amato Whelan, who was 73 at the time, suffered a broken hip and was transferred to the hospital. Mr. Whelan died in the residence, and Margie Whelan passed away in March of 2008. That's basically a double homicide.
Yeah, I'm trying to place where Fairfield Drive is in Rocky Mount. I don't know. But anyway, 86 years old.
86 years old. Tied and bound with duct tape. So there must have been some type of struggle that knocked his wife to the ground, broke her hip.
Terrible. If you know anything about this case, if you knew James Whelan, if you lived in the neighborhood, if you saw anything back in 2000 around February 20th, please let the authorities know because this is a heartbreaking case. It's another one of those home invasions.
Yeah.
We just hear so many of these cases are home invasions. You could be sitting in your home and somebody just totally breaking your home, so unannounced and scare you to death, so and kill you. So anyway, if you know anything, please help to get this person off the street.
When are the new books going to print?
They will be ready. They're supposed to be ready by the end of March, 1st of April.
So they'll be available at the fundraiser?
Yes, we're trying our best to get all the corrections made, so they are available at the fundraiser.
Okay,
yes.
all right. I know last year, I got an ad in it and nobody had reached out to me, so I didn't know if they were close to going to print.
Well, I'm surprised they hadn't called you because we are trying to get ads for it right now. If anybody does want to put an ad in the book, we're on the back page. And right here, and JP's in here with his concealed carry business. Hold yours up and let them see your ad. But yeah, JP's got one in here. So if you're interested in these go into a lot of hands. They really do. So anyway, we appreciate the support, and it's, the price I think is very reasonable to advertise in this book. So.
And they're good to share with a friend.
Yeah.
They are. This next case here is Louis Donnell Hines. Louis Donnell Hines. This case is from December 9th, 2000. Louis Hines was 40 years old at the time of his murder. Louis was found in his home at 734 Ravenwood Drive in Rocky Mount and beaten to death.
Ravenwood Drive is down on the left on 97 going 97 west going out from Raleigh Road, straight from Raleigh Road on the left where that Convenient Mart is.
Okay.
That of the guy that got robbed at the Convenient Mart. Ravenwood Drive turns right beside it.
Okay. So you're out by the Sundrop plant.
Right by the Sundrop plant.
Okay.
Exactly.
And see, this could be a home invasion.
Yeah. Could be.
Do you know if they were able to get a little more information for some of these cases before this book goes back to print?
They are going to have more information on most of the cases before they go to print.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I know some of them didn't have a picture.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to that already.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Letitia McNair.
Which we just talked about.
We did. Do you want me to kind of touch base on the details of this one?
Yeah, let's go ahead
Since we
detail it again.
Letitia McNair was reported missing January 17th, 2001 from Rocky Mount. On July 27th, 2001, 6 months after she was reported missing, an individual placed a severed skull on a grave in a cemetery on Browntown Road, Nash County. On April 20th, 2008, the rest of her remains were found. First parts about a mile away and other parts in a wooded area by fishermen in the vicinity. Autopsy determined McNair was beaten to death. Now, conspiracy theory, whatever you want to call it, feelings, somebody put that skull on that little girl's, where her marker was going,
Yep.
where her grave, somebody's conscience
Yep.
put that there.
Exactly.
That means they had to know where it was at.
Yes. Personally, in this case, one of her teachers is a friend of mine. She is very upset about this case. She said she was the sweetest student, the sweetest girl. And she just believes that a family member did this. She just believes that a family member did this. And you know what? How could you do it? It's like the 8-year-old. How can you do this to a sweet girl like this? And it's like Captain Sherrod said, people that are like this in special ed or whatever, they are usually, they don't bother anybody.
That's right.
They're usually the sweetest people, sweetest kids, and
Their
this was the
temperament's
case.
different.
Yes,
Yeah.
and this was the case here. Firsthand, I got this from one of her teachers, and teacher was she said it just really took a toll on me because I knew how sweet she was. But the reason I was asking Captain Sherrod, she lived with her aunt. Her aunt had custody. Aunt is deceased now. So, I don't know. So anyway, but there you go. If you know anything about Letitia McNair's case, as sweet as she was, we need to bring closure.
Share what you know.
Family. Yeah.
Share those facts you know that's been on your heart.
If you're in the
get
family
paid.
and you know one of your family members did it, tell,
you know,
please.
clear your conscience.
Exactly.
Share what you know.
Exactly.
Bad situation. Joseph Mark Jones. Joseph Mark Jones. This case is from April 17th, 2003. Officers were dispatched to the 800 block of Gay Street in Rocky Mount in reference to an assault. Officers around and found Joseph Mark Jones suffering from several stab wounds. Jones was transported to Wilson Medical Center where he died as a result of his injuries. We don't have a picture or any details beyond that.
Well, we know where Gay Street is. It is off of Sunset, just right there in town, one of the streets off of Sunset, close to where the old, if you remember the old Mayola milk company that was there. It runs right there around that. So if you know anything, as JP said, I've always thought a gunshot would be horrible, but stabbing, I just don't. Stabbing just would be horrible to me. I don't know.
I wonder if that's a typo. Transported to Wilson Medical Center if he was stabbed in downtown Rocky Mount.
Oh, I don't have my pen right now, but I need to mark
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I'll mark that, ask that question because,
Okay.
yeah, we may need to make a correction on that. I can't imagine
Yeah.
why, unless, well, he would have been transported, I would think, to the nearest facility,
Yeah.
whether he,
Yeah.
I was going to say maybe he lived in Wilson and was just on Gay Street for some reason.
Because there's a Gay Street in Wilson as well. So that's why I was wondering is Rocky Mount the error or is the
Yeah.
hospital the error?
Well, that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't catch that. So we will definitely get that corrected if there's an error there. So I think we got to go to break.
Okay.
And then we'll come back with the next one, Julio. Cesar Vasquez Porfirio. That's a mouthful. We'll be right back.
Get ready, the Rat Pack One More Time is coming to the Caheen Auditorium at Edgecombe Community College Friday, March 10th. Featuring a live orchestra and the fabulous swinging showgirls, the Rat Pack One More Time will take you back to the days of Vegas swing with the music of the original Rat Pack, who formed their own on-stage party. Tickets are $30 for adults, $20 for students. Friday, March 10th at 7 p.m. at Edgecombe Community College's Caheen Auditorium. Get your tickets online or at the box office. You don't want to miss this show.
No one ever wants to go into a life emergency. In fact, many of us wouldn't even know what to do if we were faced with an emergency, but they will come. Thankfully, there's men and women that train every single day for moments like this. They work on our behalf to serve and protect our local communities. Hi, I'm Kevin Zander from Don's Body Shop and Auto Body Wilson. With everything that's going on in life right now, we just want to take a moment to thank our first responders, for those that pledged their lives to serve and protect in our communities. You know, we all expect people to do their jobs, but some people's occupations may even require them to give of their life as a sacrifice. For this reason, we also want to honor those families that lost a loved one in the line of duty. Our thoughts and our prayers are with you. Let us not take these servants for granted. To our first responders, again, we say thank you. From our nurses to our military, we appreciate your service. And as a local business owner, I pray that we continue to work together and strive for an emergency-free community. Thank you, and God bless.
Sal's Pizza, an Italian night out. Taste pizza fresh from the oven. Delicious Italian dishes made from fresh ingredients with savory sauces and textures that envelop the taste buds, satisfying with every bite. You won't leave Sal's Pizza hungry.
Best pizza in town, bar none. Love it. It's authentic. It's good stuff.
This is over the top. Sal's probably has the best pizza I've ever tasted.
If you want a dine-in authentic place to eat gourmet Italian cuisine, come to Sal's Pizza, home of a local secret, the Grandma Pizza, famous for its authentic taste. For the finest, most delicious dishes, this is the place. 2820 Sunset Avenue, Rocky Mount. Ask about Sal's Pizza catering your special events.
Promise you, the freshest ingredient in the market.
Have you recently gotten engaged? Congratulations! The next big step is choosing your venue. Smith's Pavilion of Dorchester is a premium wedding venue that includes a ceremony site, bandstand, indoor and outdoor reception area. Their newest addition is a bridal suite and groom's room. They also have an in-house chef to meet your culinary needs. Smith's Pavilion of Dorchester, where we celebrate life's greatest events.
The tank is on E, and your low tire pressure light is glaring at you again. You do not have time to wait in line and pay to put air in the tires, and you certainly don't want to get out of the car in the cold and pump gas. What if you could pull up to a gas pump and have an attendant run out to greet you to pump your gas, clean your windshield, and put air in the tire, all for no extra charge, while you step inside and enjoy a made-to-order breakfast or lunch? Does that kind of full service exist anymore? It does, at JD's Grocery and Grill, a service station created to bring back the full service experience to all customers. JD's Grocery and Grill is a full service gas station. Eat in dining restaurant with tasty made-to-order food and a grocery store all in one. The staff at JD's Grocery and Grill is ready to field all requests and will help you find anything you need. Call them today at 252-972-5000 or stop on by at 1240 Atlantic Avenue. Store hours, Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Grill hours, Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. JD's Grill and Grocery, at the heart of great food.
Okay, and again, we want to, before JP goes on to the next one, our fundraiser is going to be, put this in your, April 29th, put this in your calendar right now at Rocky Mount Meals, starting, we really haven't talked about 10 or 11, it'll be somewhere in there. Our board meeting, we've got to talk about what time we're going to start. It'll go from about then until 2 or 3, like it normally does. But anyway, and JP's made a donation to our, we appreciate it, to our raffle drawing, and we're going to have a cooler.
Oh, yes.
So, and then we're going to have some $100 gift certificates to get concealed carry, and if you don't have your concealed carry, you need to get it.
You really do.
I mean,
You really
have you looked at the home invasions that we're going over? So, you know, make sure you get your concealed carry and give them your number, JP.
You can call or text me at 919-369-0311, 919-369-0311. You know, you can't help but stop and wonder when I look at this book, and this book is actually used in my classes. You stop and think about how many people who are in this book who would still be with us if they had been trained in concealed carry.
Exactly.
You know, we don't know. It's an unknown, but just stop and think if one life could have been saved because of it.
Absolutely.
Regardless if you come to me or not, if you go to the sheriff, if you go to whoever you go to, get that training, get your concealed carry, because the life you save could be that of your own.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. Okay, we'll go on to our next case.
This looks like it is Julio Cesar Vasquez Porfirio. This case is from August 22nd, 2004. Officers were flagged down and directed to a person who had been shot in the 600 block of Fairview Avenue in Wilson, North Carolina. Officers located Julio Cesar Vasquez Porfirio deceased and lying beside his bicycle in the street. Fairview Avenue in Wilson. I'm not familiar with.
I'm not either.
I'm just not.
I don't know as many Wilson streets as I do Rocky Mount streets. So.
And I only know really in Wilson the real popular Nash Street or Forestville Road or something like that. But you know, people flagged them down, so they had stumbled across him lying in the street.
See, it's so hard unless the public has seen something. It is so hard. Those cases that you just find somebody lying there shot, it's so hard unless you, the public, can come forward and you saw something. If you live in the vicinity, if you know who did this, you know, somebody may know who did it. Somebody knows it. So it's so hard unless you come forward. The public, as the chief of police said from Rocky Mount that came on with us 2 or 3 weeks ago, he said, we have to have the public. We have to have
They have to have an active role. They do. They have to take ownership. So many of these cases could be solved today with just one random tip.
Absolutely.
One random sharing that little bit of information with law enforcement. Almost every case in here is probably just on the cusp of being solved.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Luis Chinchilla Rosales. This case is from August 31st, 2004. Officers were dispatched to a shooting at 415 Winston Street in Wilson. Upon arriving at the apartment complex, officers located Luis Chinchilla Rosales suffering from a gunshot wound. He was transported to the hospital where he later died of his injuries. Again, I'm not real familiar with where Winston Street is in Wilson. With this one,
We know it was an apartment complex.
Right. We don't have time of day or anything like that. We got limited information. But, who knows? I mean, you could be someone who is privy to some, information about this case. You could call, get paid, bring closure to a family. But anyway, if you know anything about Louis Chinchilla Rosales, 8/31/2004, shooting in Wilson, call the hotline, call Twin County Crime Stoppers. You might have that little tip that they need to hear from.
We would like to take some cases before we go to print out of this book. We would like to solve them so that they come out of this book. That would be good.
Yes, it would.
So, the next one, we've got a little bit more information.
We do. This case has been around for a while. Billy Ray Childers. This case is from December 5th, 2004. Billy Childers was sitting on the porch at 1208 Boone Street in Rocky Mount, drinking with his father, Sammy Childers, and a friend, Stanley, is that Acri?
Yeah, Acri, I believe. I'm not
A
sure.
little after midnight, Stanley Acri had gone to bed, and the father, Sammy Childers, stated that two white males attacked him and Billy as they were sitting on the porch. They fled in the house, and shortly after, Sammy had gone to bed not knowing how severe he and his son had been beaten. The next morning, Stanley had woken and saw Billy on the floor in the foyer area. He went to talk to Sammy, who was still in bed. They spoke for a few minutes, and then Stanley left and went to breakfast. When he returned, he stated that he went to talk to Sammy again and saw that he had been stabbed. He then went to wake Billy up and realized that he was dead. Stanley then called 911 around 10:34 a.m. to report this. EMS and police arrived. Sammy was removed through a window through to the ambulance in order not to disrupt the crime scene.
Wow. So sometimes they have to do things like that so that they don't disturb the evidence.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That is
Well, that's complicated now.
It really is.
That's complicated. I'd have to read that one again.
It's kind of odd. So that was his dad went in there to speak with him before he went to breakfast, and he was apparently talking. It looks like to me the son would have shared with the dad, look, number one, there's blood. There should have been blood. Dad, I think I've been stabbed.
You don't even tell your dad that you've been stabbed? And then the Stanley Acri, so he was just a friend? Yeah, a friend, Stanley Acri.
Yeah, I got so many questions.
So he spent the night there?
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. So he spent the night there because they were drinking.
Mm-hmm.
And
he goes to bed like an hour or so before all of this begins to unravel. So when Stanley goes inside to go to bed, that's when random people show up and attack them on the porch.
Okay. Wow.
But he sleeps all night long, supposedly with stab wounds, and is able to communicate and speak with his dad the next morning before his dad leaves to go eat breakfast.
Yeah.
If you're stabbed, you're going to be bleeding.
That's what I was thinking. And Stanley left and went to breakfast. When he returned, he stated that he went to talk to Sammy again and saw that he had been stabbed. He then went to wake up Billy and realized he was dead. Whew. Stanley's the one, the friend is the one that called 911.
Mm-hmm.
Well then, so they didn't bother him.
Right.
So they were after the Childers.
That's what it sounds
folks.
like.
Father and son. It sounds like to me.
That's what it sounds like.
Well, anyway, if you know anything about this convoluted case, please come forward and say something, because I mean, we need to make sense of what happened here, but and need to solve this case. So we would appreciate anybody calling. 2004. It's been a while. You know where Boone Street is, right over by the Edwards Barbecue. Like to give landmarks, as Lieutenant Siegman used to say. Over by Edwards Barbecue. So Rocky Mountain Undergarment, all of that's on Boone Street. So
And
used to
Rocky
be.
Mountain just had a homicide over there this past week.
Yeah, they did. They did. So, when Rocky Mountain comes, we'll ask for some hot. We didn't do a hot and now today. Well, I guess we did do a hot and now, kind of, because Captain Sherrod did talk about the 2 that happened a couple of weeks ago.
True.
So that's as hot and now as we could get from Nash County. But and we're glad of that. Hadn't been no more. But anyway, well, that's all for today. We'll start back whenever we resume with another case and bring you some more cases in this book, and then we'll have a new book coming out and talk about some cases. So if you know anything, folks, it's so important that you call and contact somebody. It is anonymous. You will not. We've solved some cases, and we have no idea. The 3 that were solved, we don't know who they were, you know, at all. And law enforcement is not going to rat you out. They're not going to say anything. So because they just want to solve the case. So, all right. Well, that's all for today. Make it a great day, everybody. We'll see you next week on the K Files.